How are you feeling after the bye week?
Really good. I think we're all feeling healthy, energized, ready to go.
What did you do over the bye week?
I stayed here, hung out here, watched some film. Went to a couple volleyball games. Had fun.
For you, over this next stretch, how important is it you protect yourself, make good decisions? I mean, you've seen a lot of quarterbacks in this league go out for the season with different injuries. How important is it that you just play smart here over these final 6 weeks?
Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job of that these first couple starts I've had. I don't think I change anything. I'm still going to be aggressive as a runner. Still want to, when I can, bring the team on. When a quarterback is running hard, I think it really energizes the team more than a lot of people understand. So I want to keep doing that, but at the same time, like you said, I want to protect myself, but not to the point where I'm not getting first downs or something.
Have you been able to, as these last 4 or 5 weeks have gone on, settle into a rhythm, like through the pace of? I mean, you had a Friday game, you had a bye week, but just as far as the way that you take care of yourself, that's maybe different than what it would be if you weren't expecting to be out there for 60 or 70 reps on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's something that I need to work on, and I think as I start more and more games and get more and more reps on Saturdays and Fridays, I'll figure out, I can push myself even more on Tuesdays than what I'm feeling like I should be able to. And then, I don't want to back off on Thursdays and Fridays. Those are the days we tune everything up so that we can execute on Saturdays. But you find a tempo, and you find the tempo for everyone else too. Because there's guys that are, the O-line are taking a lot more beatings than I am. They find their tempo, and then we all just kind of settle in together.
Is there anything about standing here on a Tuesday and having a really pretty concrete idea of what you're going to do on Saturday, as far as the amount of playing time you're going to get, versus not knowing, like you experienced your first couple of starts?
I don't think so. And, if that starts to creep into my mind, I need to work on getting that out, because I want to keep preparing the same way I have been the last couple weeks. I want to prepare just like I have been the last 2 or 3 years. I want my shot. I want my opportunity. So if I get lackadaisical on a Tuesday because I feel like I need to protect myself for Saturday, I think I'm doing a really big disservice to my team.
What's your trust level with some of the younger receivers who are being thrust into a more prominent role on this offense now?
Yeah, there's a couple of young guys that, it's hard, especially when some of them haven't been here. A couple of them have been here since the winter, but when they show up in the summer and you don't get the summer to throw with them, it is kind of tough. But that's where we need to treat Tuesday like a game day, because that way, when we get to game day, those guys, they're starting to come along because they've been practicing hard like it's Saturday all week.
When it comes to the first drive of the game, how do you think that's gone, executing those plays, staying on script with everything?
Yeah, it's been, this year's been kind of weird in that, the first game, we started on the -1 yard line. Illinois, we start on the -1 yard line. So sometimes, stuff like that does kind of throw you off script a little bit, but I think more than anything, it's not the plays, it's how we come out and execute whatever they call. Obviously in an ideal world, we're going to go with the script that, Coach Sat has come up with. But we got to be able to, one of these times we may start on the +1. We got to punch it in on the first play. So I think we just need to go out and execute on the first drive.
Heinrich, the coaches used the bye week for a little bit of a self-scout and kind of evaluate where you guys are at. From an offensive approach of where you're at right now, how similar or different is it from what you would have predicted at the start of the year?
I think we saw from spring into the fall that this offense is constantly evolving, just because we have so many dynamic players. we have had a couple injuries and guys that like we said, need to come along a little bit. And so, when guys like, Marcus go down, that kind of takes away some of the experience on the outside. So you have to kind of change a little bit. But I don't think we're going to shift entirely as an offense. It's just kind of maybe shifting the load a little bit.
What have you learned, through your first 4 starts?
I think especially on this team, if you take care of the ball and do your job, good things will happen. It's not always pretty. We play in a tough conference. This is Big Ten. It's kind of like the NFL. Like, you got to take care of the ball, execute, do your job, and trust the guys on the other side of the ball and on special teams that they'll do their job too, and find a way to get a win.
Coach Rule had said you said a couple of weeks ago that becoming a starter and playing is a product of Coach Rule. If you work hard, you'll get out there and play. And obviously, you're seeing you guys get out there a little bit because of injuries. But do you see that same sort of, mentality or that same sort of theme when they get out there and play that might not have been out there before?
Yeah, I think our guys are starting to realize in this program that you gain what you work for. So yeah, there may be some injuries in guys, but I don't think guys are looking at injuries as opportunities. They're looking at, okay, it's my turn now. I wasn't put into this role because of an injury. I earned this because of the work that I put in. And so I think as long as we continue to have that mindset, everyone will continue to grow, and eventually we'll be a really good team.
How often do you hear from, you grew up in a couple of different places, but you spent your high school years in Carney. How often do you hear from people now back home in Carney about your play and just what you're doing? Yeah,
it's funny. I get texts from, people that got my number from so-and-so, or, I try to respond to as many of those as I can, just because I know how much it means to have someone from Carney, someone to represent them. And so that's what I try to do, every time I go out on the field, every time I'm here, every time I'm out in the community. I really try to represent them.
Do you hear from former coaches like Coach Harvey or even Coach Purdue from a couple years ago?
Yeah, I love, talking to Coach Harvey. I try to call him once a week, and he sends me a message, or, there's other coaches too, but try to stay in contact with those guys because they're the ones who, helped me put me in this position.
Speaking of volleyball, you took in a couple matches. I know you're laser focused on football, but how cool is it that the volleyball team's got number 1, number 2 this weekend? And I'm sure the football team is aware of that and aware of that team, and the volleyball team supports you guys a lot. How important is it that they have that kind of match after your football game?
Yeah, I think there's been more excitement, especially the coaches have started. They all have some of them have daughters who are really love watching those girls, and the football team, the volleyball team, we've been close. We try to support each other as much as we can. And so I think, Saturday, that big of a game after our game, I think it'd be huge if, we both get wins on that day. And, obviously that's going to be a big game for them. So really, really hoping they pull it out.
You're going to try to get over there for it?
I will, yeah.